Finally, we are live. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching from. We are here with our anticipated session talking about money, 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 money. I love talking about money. I don't know about you guys, but I love talking about money. And every time I come here to highlight a story of a fulfilled mom in action is to challenge us women, challenge us mothers to do more than what we're doing. I know we're already doing so good. I know we're already doing amazing things in our families, but I want us to do more so that we can live a life of abundance, so that we can live a fulfilled life, and we can find purpose and live a happy life as opposed to struggling and juggling and hustling through the day. So my name is Belinda Asachov. I am your transformation and confidence coach. Coming here today with me is an amazing mom who is doing good, and she is doing amazing things. So as you come on, before I introduce her, please give us some love. Give us some love so that we know that you're here. Just say hi to us. Tell us where you are watching from. And we want it to be as interactive as possible. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to write them down, put them in the comment sections, because we don't want to be the only people talking. We want everybody to be talking. Like, bring those money challenging questions that we can all figure out. As we all know, we're here to learn, we're here to interact. We are here to move the world one step forward. And yes, if you ever want to be a speaker on my show, please inbox me. I am here to highlight us all so that we can do good. Amazing. So please, as you come, do not forget to give us some love. Please leave us a message to just let us know that you are here. Okay, so we are going to go live now. We're going to bring our speaker now. If you're watching the replay after, you can just hashtag replay, or you can hashtag live if you're watching live with us. Thank you. And I introduce to you our amazing Ida, originally from Cameroon, where she obtained her bachelor's degree in accounting and relocated to Canada in 2010. 4 years after her arrival in Canada, she founded Peerless Accounting Industry, and an accounting firm based in Quebec, Canada, offering accounting and tax services to small and medium-sized businesses and individuals across the country and across the globe. Raised in Cameroon and now living in North America with a culture which in so many ways is different, and the values and customs she was raised with. Ida witnessed firsthand and how our people blindly fall into financial traps designed to keep us broke. Yes, designed to keep us broke. Indeed. We live in a culture where that has been normalized. Yes, that has been normalized. It is aggressively marketed to us through credit cards, through shining things when we go to the mall, through like a lot of ways. Yeah. And it is so easily accessible, of course. And so to live in such a culture and yet thrive financially despite a countless financial obligation towards our families back home, she has just been passionate about figuring ways to help us get out of debt. So she is here to share her experience, share what has worked for her, and share what has worked for some of the people that she has been guiding and coaching. So Ida, you are welcome to our platform. Thank you for being a guest today. And yes, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you very much, Belinda. Hi, everybody. If you're watching, leave us comments so we know you're right here. So as she said, my name is Ida. Some people call me Ida, some Ida, and it's okay, whichever one you choose to call. Originally from Cameroon, I'm here in Montreal, Quebec with my family. I'm an accountant. Here right now, I'm talking to you as a financial coach. So if you do have money questions, go ahead and ask us your questions. I'm going to be able to answer them. Mainly, I'm going to be talking to you about getting out of debt, living in abundance, getting rid of your mentality of scarcity and things like that. So I'm here for your questions, and I'm glad to be here, Belinda.
Thank you. Thank you. I see so many people. Like we have 11 people watching, but just one person commenting. Please let's know you're here. Give us some love. Please, please, please. Don't be a silent watcher because we want everybody to be able to speak up. Speak up what is in your mind. And yes, Ida, can you please just tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, and everything, please?
So I'm the youngest child from a family of 7 children, 5 girls and 2 boys. My dad passed away when I was really young. I was 10 years old. So my mom was, I could say, a single mom, but from the time I was 10 years old, she raised us on her own. And I could see firsthand how she um, was able to overcome a lot of the challenges that life threw at her. I was able to witness a lot of those firsthand. And money was actually one of our problems. But she found a way to put us through school, even though she got into debt to get all of that done. But she did put us through school, and I'm so proud to have the education that I have now, thanks to all the sacrifices she did. I came over to Canada in 2010. I think I was 24 years old at the time. I didn't know anyone here. And of course, when you get to a new country, like you want to do as fast as possible to get used to the place. But everything is so different in Canada than it is in Cameroon. Like so many things are different. The main thing, well, not even the main thing, but so many things are different, right? And when you come here, one thing that's here that we didn't have as much in Cameroon is easy access to money, aka credit cards, credit, and all of that. So unfortunately, when we come here, there's nobody who's giving you the education you need about how to handle money. Nobody tells you anything about that. And yeah, because of that, people do fall into difficult situations. People find themselves in debt, and several years down the road, when you look back, you're like, how did I even get here? And you're so deep into it that you don't even know how to get out. So yeah, that's a brief.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for that great introduction and sharing your personal experience and what you've been through and how you've been able to use the experiences that you had in life to grow to the woman that you are today. And just hearing you talk about like growing up and seeing your mom struggle to bring you guys up to make sure that you guys had the best in life, it just gave you that fearlessness to strive for the best as well. And also the fact that we've all grown into those families where money was a problem at one point, right? Where we see our parents struggle, we see our parents wanting to do the best, but they have to live in lack. They have to live that scarcity mindset where we feel like money is going to go away, money is going to run away, you know, where we feel like, okay, like we have to have this, we have to have this. So it's, yeah, thank you for sharing that. Just hearing that, it reminds me too of my own childhood growing up as well. Just, yeah, having those struggles as well, having do one business to the other to make sure that there was food on the table. So my next question for you is, what pushed you? I know you said credit cards into this part of the world, not knowing the system. So what pushed you to start learning about finances and how the system is designed to make us live in debt? Like, what was your driving force?
I myself, I got into a lot of debt. And given that I do have a background in accounting, I should know better. But when you come here, it's not what you know, it's what you do. Right. So we all know like we should live below our means. We all know you shouldn't spend money you don't have. But the system is so it makes it has normalized debt. So you don't find it as a problem when you getting into debt to live the life you're living. You don't find that as a problem at all. And then down the road, so many months or so many years down the road, you look back and you say, oh my God, I have accumulated so much credit card debt and I don't even know how to get out. So personally, I was at that point, like, how do I even get out of this thing? And then in doing my research, added to the knowledge I already had. But in doing my research, I came across information which is deep down buried in books. It's deep down buried in, yeah, it's in books and it's in people you need to listen to. It's all hidden in there. And we're like there's this thing that they always joke about, right? If you want to hide something from somebody, put it in a book.
Yes.
So, so I saw all of that and I said, our people don't have this information at all. I used the principles in things that I found in books, things that I researched. I got myself out. And right now I'm here to share the message to help people also get out.
Yeah, no. So what I was saying is that being like with from your research and the much that you know, being an accountant and being able to have conquered the spirit of living in that, can you share some of like the steps that you've used to be able to get to where you are?
Yeah, absolutely. So this guy that I listened to, his name is Dave Ramsey. I would say
Amazing
he's
guy.
my mentor. I've never met him. He's never met me. I read his book. I listened to him. He has a financial background just like me. He got in debt himself with zeros behind it, like millions. And he got out using principles that are in Bible-based principles, common sense, and behavior changes. And I looked at all of that and it made absolute sense to me. So this is the thing, right? First of all, if you look at the way we do live our lives, every single purchase goes on a credit card. Every single, without even a second thought, you walk into a grocery shop, first thing that comes out is your credit card.
Tell me about it.
I don't use the credit cards anymore. That might be strange to a lot of people, but I don't use credit cards.
Amazing.
And it's not because I have a lot more money than any other person. No, it's just because I've told myself, you need to tell yourself, if you don't have the money for this thing right now, don't buy it.
Great.
So the first thing really it is about budgeting, a zero-based budget. So what does that mean? You have a certain amount of dollars that are coming in every single month. That should be your limit of how much you can spend. You should actually spend less, because if you spend every single dollar that you receive, you don't get any money to save. But because we use credit cards, we don't even pay attention to the fact that you're spending more than you have.
We are talking about understanding money and how some simple steps that can guide you to get out of debt, not overnight, but eventually. And Ida is here to share her experience. So if it's worked for her, it can definitely work for you. And I'm sure she will tell you consistency is key. Understanding and using the principles are very important. And research and read. She said something, yes, we don't read because we're too busy. So yes, thank you, Sister CV. Thank you. She says, thank you for sharing your story, Ida. And then Hilda, thank you. She's like, you don't use credit cards. Amazing. I need the courage to cut mine through. And then Loveline is like, that's right. Don't spend what you don't have. It's true. Don't spend what you don't have. Thank you, Charlotte, always here. Great content. Of course. Thank you so much. Great content. Thank you, Ida, again, for sharing your heart out. And I will just maybe retract us a little bit. Can you a little bit just share your understanding of money and how money works, even as we go into the steps, so that before we go more deeper into the steps, then people can have a better understanding of money.
Okay, so the best definition I've ever heard somebody say about money is Vicky Robin. It's in a book called Your Money or Your Life. So essentially, what is money? Money is an expression of what your life energy. You wake up in the morning, like you have a certain amount of time on this earth. In a given day, you have 24 hours. That's it. What do you do with your time? You at certain time, you're exchanging probably 8 hours of your day for money. So it's pretty much 8 hours of your life energy that you're exchanging, and the value you're getting from it is the money you're getting in exchange for that. So if when somebody offers you an employment, the only reason you accept that employment is because you evaluate that those 8 hours are worth 8 hours of your life energy is worth what they're trying to give you in exchange for your time.
Right.
So you wouldn't accept a job, for example, that pays you $5 because there's another job that's probably going to pay you $15. In your mind, you've evaluated that your life energy is worth $15 $10 at that particular time. It's not worth $5. If you look at money as your life energy, you start to look at it like, how much of my life energy do I really want to waste to buy this particular thing? Say, for example, an iPhone cost you $1,000. How many hours of your life does it take for you to make $1,000? Do you really want to exchange that amount of your life energy for a piece of technology that you can probably use a cheaper version of? That kind of thing. So when you evaluate your time or your money in terms of your life energy, then you start to reconsider certain choices that you make with your money.
So what I'm hearing is like, don't spend above your means.
Yes.
If you have the money, definitely buy the iPhone.
Exactly.
So like, at what point do you draw a balance of like abundance and living within your means?
You should always live within your means, no matter what income level you're at. But again, like, you can't limit your earning potential because you think there's scarcity. The resources we have in our little context is unlimited. As in the fact that I'm able to earn a certain amount of money, it doesn't stop you from going out to earn that same amount of money. So I think that's the kind of mentality we have in terms of like the scarcity mentality. Somebody is getting these resources, it's going to run out and you will not be able to have those same resources. It's not necessarily in our little context, it doesn't apply that way. So we need to really get rid of that kind of mentality and stop living in the mentality of scarcity.
Okay, so why do you think people live in scarcity a lot? Because like, I think we're chasing money. We're like finish that one and then I can go to the next follow-up question.
In terms of money, I'll give that answer after. But in terms of like, in terms of everyday things we buy, I think it's just because we judge ourselves by external things instead of by internal things. So we want to impress everybody. And
Right.
you think by having the newest phone or driving the newest car or having the best looking handbag, you're impressing people. But you need to reevaluate yourself and ask yourself, why is it I'm trying to impress people? Is it because deep down within me, I feel lacking in something? And I think by putting up these external appearances, I'm going to cover up for what it is that I'm lacking within.
So that impression is like, okay, this all probably competition that we don't even know that we're competing, right?
Yes.
We're like, okay, this person has this, maybe I can afford it. I'm going to use it to buy it. We're competing even when we don't know that we're competing.
Exactly.
And we end up like in debt and we still have our bills to pay, right?
Yes.
That one is something that we cannot take away. But the things that we're not supposed, like, we don't need, don't go for it because external forces are driving you. Because there is innovation happening every single day. That iPhone, that handbag, there's gonna be a better one tomorrow. I'm understanding. And then also, like, why do you think money is something like, I don't know, especially women? I know now it's a little bit normalized, but we don't talk about money a lot. Or if somebody were to ask you, say, how much do you earn? Or like, when we talk about money, there is that uncomfortability around it. Like, in your experience, why do you think it's so?
I'm still to know the exact answer to that question. Because the truth is, your deepest secret, if you went and for the sake of finding an example, if you go and do the worst crime out there, you will tell your best friend that, hey, you know what, I did this thing. Let's look for a solution to it. But when it comes to money, I don't even think your best friend knows how much money you make. You're so secretive about that. And I don't know. I'm still to find the answer to that. There is, like Sylvie just said, because we're in debt, there's a lot of truth in that. When you're in debt, I think the aspect of shame, because you tell yourself, I make this much money. How come I'm so deep in debt? And so there's that shame that's in there, and you don't want to let people know that this appearances that you're putting up, it doesn't exist. Like, it's all on the surface.
Which brings me to my next question. Like, what are some of the things that you think we can begin to start applying that will help us get out of debt and that will help us understand money more and talk about money freely? Because what I've learned, that the things that you call, the things you appreciate, and even if you're working how many jobs, that money is not going to come. It's just that lack mentality, right? So like, what are some of the steps that we can begin to start applying that you think can help us get out of debt?
I saw somebody say, how can you live without a credit card? The first thing, cut up your credit card. Or if you're not ready to cut it up, take it out of your wallet. So if you really want to hang on to your credit card because you think some places are not going to accept it, call up the bank, let them issue a new card, and then don't put it in your wallet, but don't put it in your wallet. But anyway, you know what? This advice is actually contrary to what I believe. Cut up your credit card first. Then second thing, you do a budget, which essentially has to be a zero-based budget, meaning that your income, let me use round numbers, $2,000 if that's what you're making a month, that's what gets into your bank account. You need to make your expenses should not be more than that 2,000. So you need to write them down, right? And when you're writing down, you need to take into consideration what it is that what's your reality. So there's no budget that's the same for two people. Say the first thing you probably want to have on your budget is what you have to give away, because if you have family back home, trust me, you have that as an item in your budget. So you want to put in your budget how much it is that you have to give away to your family back home, your rent, your groceries, your transportation. You put those important things that have to happen every month, no matter what. How much is even left in there?
Probably zero.
Probably zero. So when you do that, now you ask yourself, like, why am I even, like, there's certain things you buy without even thinking. You've never really written them down. Like, what is it that's important? What is it that I'm supposed to be doing every single month with my money, given that this is all I have and these are the things I have to do? So you need to do a budget. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So budget is the highlight of it all. Have a budget, know how much you're making from all your sources of income, which is something that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. Cut off your credit card. Okay. Some of us, we have to really learn to cut off our credit card. I don't know about that, but yes, we need more details and more support because, what is she talking about? So if you have those comments, just air yourself out. Don't keep it to yourself. Let's have a conversation. Yes. And Sister Sivise, put them in the freezer. What can you do about us having debt and still contributing or participating in Jangis?
I know I'm going to get on lash for this one, but I don't. I don't play Jangi, not because I have anything against it, but because I'm disciplined enough to know that if I have to set aside this amount of money in a month, I will set it aside. Because essentially what is in Jangi is really a savings. It's a way for you to save your money right now. And the only reason why Jangi really works is because you have people that you're accountable to. So you know that if you don't play on Jangi, it's a bad thing. We all know that as a community, right? If you don't play on Jangi, you get a bad name. It's a very bad thing. But essentially, Jangi doesn't give you any interest of any sort. Besides the non-financial aspects of it, which is like what is it, like the friendship, the community, and all of that.
Yeah.
Besides that, what is Jangi for you? It's simply savings. Personally, I don't play Jangi because I'm disciplined enough to put aside the money on my own. But the thing you need to know is if you have debt, if you're living in debt, you're paying at least 19% interest every month to the bank. So that your $500 or your $1,000 you're setting aside for Jangi every month, you're not getting any interest for that, but you're paying 19% of whatever you owe the bank every month to them. So why not pay down your credit card with the money that you're sending every month to Jangi? And again, like I said, I know some people, I'm going to get tongue lashed for this because Jangi is our culture, right?
So, but if somebody say you had no debt, then like if you can do it, fine, right?
If you had no debt, of course you can do it. But again, there are better places for you to. Jangi doesn't pay you interest, like I said, but the bank will pay you interest. If you take the money that in a regular savings account is really small, it's like 0.1 to like 2%. But your money shouldn't be sitting in a savings account anyway. It should be in an investment account.
Oh, we're going to talk about investments in a short time. This is actually really interesting. Okay, Sister Loveline, I don't know if that's like the answer to your question or if you feel like you still need more. So what about somebody who is like, okay, if I pick my Jangi, I'll clear off my credit card, just like follow up to that. And I'm sure that is what Sister Lisa is asking. I think they're playing Jangi why in debt because they need some readily available money. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. But what about like follow-up question, what about somebody is like, okay, I'll pick Jangi say April and then I'll just clear off my credit card like then and then they still have the whole year to play. How does that make sense though to you?
It does make sense because if you're already in the Jangi, given the way that Jangis work, you can't just pull out at any given moment. You can only pull out at the time when it's come to an end. So yes, it makes sense that when it's your turn to receive the funds from the Jangi, it makes sense to have a real project for it, which if you're in debt, that's where the money should go.
Okay.
If you're not in debt, you've paid off all your debt and you need to put it to whatever the next goal is in your life.
Amazing. So if you can, like maybe playing Jangi is a way to have like maybe pay off your credit card or have a project that is coming up and you use it towards that, because probably an investment is over time, so it might not give you that readily cash like Sister Lisa is saying to do that project, right? And then just comments coming in. I never ever play Jangi. I will invest in 2021 period. Amazing, love that. And then Hilda is like, invest your money, bank doesn't pay much. That's true, banks doesn't pay much. So now let's talk about, I don't know if anybody has questions about around credit cards, debt. If you have questions, please put them on. From what Tisaida said, budgeting, cut off credit cards, spend within your means, and evaluate what you're doing. Evaluate is very important so that you can know if you're moving forward or you need to still do more. And then my next question is, let's talk about investments. Some of the investments, the little investments that you think people can start to do if they're not in debt. If somebody is looking, okay, how can I invest my money? That way I can be able to get returns, say a year or 5 years down the road. What are some pointers that you can direct them to?
So, full disclosure, first of all, I'm not an investment advisor.
Amazing.
So I'm going to give you general advice based on what it is that has worked for me. But you need to take this information and speak to your investment advisor to see what it is that works best for you. Okay, so what is it you should be doing with your money? Your money could be going in a place like mutual funds. So first of all, if I want to talk of a thing like RRSPs, I think a lot of us do have RRSPs, and the only reason we're having those RRSPs is because we're thinking we want to reduce our tax debt. We want to get a tax refund. So a lot of people do have RRSPs, but that's all they do with it. But you need to know that when you've opened up an RRSP with the bank, for example, the bank takes that money and puts it in a savings deposit in your RRSP or in your tax-free savings account. Same thing. It takes it and puts that money in a savings deposit, which pretty much earns you like 1% interest. It's not a lot. So you need to look into your bank account, and if your money is sitting in a savings deposit, you need to move it into an investment. And personally, I use mutual funds. So and mutual funds will generally earn you, like track history, it earns you anywhere between 6% to like 13% on your investments. So be it in an RRSP or be it in a tax-free savings account, you can invest those ones. The various tax implications, those ones you need to discuss with your accountant, or if you wanted to reach out to me directly, I can talk to you one-on-one, depending on your personal scenario.
Amazing. So so let's invest our money. So in your opinion,
somebody had a question. I'm sorry. It says, what is RRSP? RRSP, it's a registered retirement savings plan. If you're in Canada, just look it up. RRSP, it stands for Registered Retirement Savings Plan. It's pretty much a kind of retirement account that the government of Canada allows you to contribute into, and it has tax benefits. Same thing with the TFSA, which is a tax-free savings account. So again, I can answer more questions on those if you had like a really specific question about it. But if not, Belinda, just go ahead.
Okay, so I think Sister Lisa is in Cameroon. So like, I don't know if you have any pointers for somebody who is like in Cameroon that can use to save money, to invest and stuff like that.
I'm not very sure when it comes to specifically for Cameroon.
Okay, that's fine. Or she can always, if you want more questions, you can always get in touch with Sister Ida. She's on Facebook. Yeah, and maybe she'll be able to point you, or I'm sure. Thank you so much. Yeah, so yes, we should be investing our money. Don't leave it staying in a bank account. And maybe if you have to compare investment and Jangi, investment is better because you get interest over it. Unless you really want to build a community and be part of a community, then Jangi is a way to go. Or if you have a project that you're like, okay, I want to deal with this project, then kind of Jangi is the way to go. We're not advising you on what to do, and thank you again for that disclaimer, and thanks Ben for highlighting that too. Yes, we're just like, I think Ida is just talking about her experience, what has worked for her, what has made her be able to get out of debt, and some of the people that she's been able to coach, not advise, coach, that have been able to use those steps to get out of debt and kind of eventually slowly trying to live in abundance. So my next question is, as we're getting to a round up, what is your take on residual income? What is your take on having multiple sources of income? Do you believe in just having your job, or do you believe in using your gifts? Like, what is your take on that?
Absolutely, you should have other sources of income besides your job. Absolutely. Because here is the truth, right? Every single person has a talent. Everybody has something they're good at. You have something that you're better at than somebody else, and you do have something that you're so good at that somebody else is willing to pay you money for that thing. It doesn't matter if it's as simple as cooking food. There are people who, if they had their way, they would never get into a kitchen. They would rather be doing something else. And you, the person who's very good at cooking, you might think, oh, it's not a really big thing, it's not a really big talent. No, but you can definitely package your services of food preparation, meal prep, to give you residual income. So definitely that's something you should be doing in addition to doing your full-time full-time job, which, say for example, you do a normal job, which is 9 to 5. What are you doing with your time from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m.? That's the time you should be building whatever it is you're good at, like you're building towards some sort of residual income.
Amazing. So what about somebody who's like, oh, I want to have multiple sources of income, but I don't know what to do? So that is the answer. If you've been like, oh, I want to do more, I want to have multiple sources of income, there is little things that you can do. Like she just mentioned, you can cook, and Sister CV is here. She will tell you she makes a really amazing fish roll. Thank you. Coming true. And they're like, and Benner is here with healthy eating, and there's so many people here that have amazing. And Bella is here as well. She's a self love and relationship coach. Like there's so many things that you can be doing. Tap into your inner strength, tap into what you want to do more, and use it as a resource for you, because those are the ways that you start to get out of like debt. You start to see money coming here, and then you live in abundance.
And one thing to add to that, right? So if you, when you're trying to get out of debt, right? Like I said, you need to make a budget. And if you do have a salary, which is like fixed income, steady income every single month, that's your baseline. If you paid every 2 weeks, there are 2 months in the year where you get a third paycheck, but your month didn't get longer. So your expenses in that month didn't double or didn't triple.
That's right.
If you have an extra paycheck, which if you're paying attention and if you're really trying to get out of debt, that third paycheck in that month shouldn't be allocated to anything apart from debt. Just send it all to your credit card, all of it. Twice a year that happens if you're paid every two weeks. But if you're paid every like the 15th and at the end of the month, there's always still a way that you can within your budget allocate a certain amount extra, which is like, okay, this portion of my money is going to debt. And when you're doing, say, your residual, when you have residual income, every extra income that comes to you should go to whatever your goal is at that time. So you should be sending all of that to pay off your debt.
Amazing.
Assuming that you're not using your credit card anymore, starting from today, assuming you're not using it anymore, aggressively pay it off.
Great. So from today, thank God for Sister Ida. I have to like start practicing leaving my credit card at home or put it in the freezer, like Sister CV said. And just to read some comments, every person has a talent, use your passion and get some residual income. People out there need you. Of course. Thank you for that, Sister Hilda. People out there need you. And then our realtor Annie said, Annie here, great and empowering. Instead of going in for 1,000 Jangi, you can consider 500 Jangi and reduce your credit card debt with the balance, and then go for 1,000 maybe much later. Thank you for that. And for those who can't do without credit card, you can use it and pay it off before the interest charges kick in. That's
that is what we have convinced ourselves. Annie, I'm gonna respond to your question right away.
Amazing. I love this. Go ahead.
So, what do you mean you cannot live without a credit card?
Okay, but okay, there are some things that you can't do without a credit card. So like buying a flight, right? Flight tickets, shopping on Amazon, right? Or shopping online. The places that will only take a credit card. So I think that's what Annie's saying.
Okay, so let me tell you this. Do you know your bank offers a virtual Visa debit? Call up your bank. They do offer a virtual Visa debit card, which is a card that is connected directly to your checking account. And and that card has a number the same like a credit card number and everything. It just doesn't have the place to swipe. But it has that card exactly like your credit card. If you have to make a purchase from Amazon from your quote unquote $2,000, which is your income for that month, right? You know that purchase is coming from your checking account. You're not borrowing money from the bank to pay for that. So what do you mean you cannot live without a credit card?
Sister CV said she tried, but she's like, I tried, but it didn't work.
So I use it. So we need to talk, CV.
So you really have one person that you have to grind so that she can get out of credit card debt. It's possible. I think sometimes it's a mindset, right? I don't know if you want to share a little bit light on mindset. Yeah.
It is a mindset because the community we live in right now has made it so normal that we think it's impossible. Because you know what? The credit card credit is one of the most aggressively marketed products right now. period. Who's this guy who advertises it? I think it's Samuel L. Jackson. He comes up, he's so imposing. He's like, "What's in your wallet?" Of course, you're enticed by things like that. You want, like, they are finding ways to make you depend on your credit card. But the truth is, when you walk into a shop with a credit card, your mind is going to, what's my balance on this credit card, as how much is available for you to spend. Your mind isn't going to, how much money do I really have left in this month to use. So when you walk in with a credit card, you're inclined to spend more money than you would have spent if you intentionally knew you were paying from your debit card, from whatever you had physically.
Amazing. So yes, Annie just followed up with a comment. I said, for those who can do without. Yeah, like
it's a mentality thing. You've
Yeah.
told yourself you cannot do without. It's a mentality thing. We've taken years to get to the level we're at right now. You need to really be intentional about not using it. Like, if you want to make this, it's a new habit. We form the habit of using it. So you need to form a new habit of not using it. And for you to form a new habit, you have to make that thing easy. You have to make it easy. Say, you make it easy to do the right thing, or make it difficult to do the wrong thing. It's like talking about somebody trying to quit alcohol, but you have alcohol lying everywhere in the house. Make it difficult for them to get it. It's probably not going to work only based on that, but at least you've made it more difficult. It's not just lying around and it's like temptation lying everywhere.
Amazing. And we have a testifier. Sister Relinda says, it's very possible. I don't have a credit card. So you see, there are people that have it. And Bella says, you can use credit card as long as you are paying the bills. As we done spending the money from the credit card, we should rejoice paying it off when it's time. What is your thought on that?
Don't use a credit card. Try it for 1 month. Try it.
I like the fact that you're so persistent about, like, don't use a credit card. It's possible. You're not dangling between, okay, you can have it and pay it off.
No.
Oh, you can't live with it. Like, I just like the fact that you're like, yes, you can do it. Try it. You
can do it.
I think,
so,
yeah.
So this is what I want people to try, right? Just pick up your credit card statement for the last month or the last 3 months, for example, and carefully look through all the charges that are on your credit card, and ask yourself, like, if you were spending this money from the money you physically had, would you make those same purchases? Just ask yourself that and look through them. Of course, there's something like a phone bill, which is probably the same all the time. You have your hydro bill. You probably have your gas, which is the things you would pay. You probably pay those same things every month. So if you're so adamant about using a credit card, how about you put those 3 things on your credit card, because it's money you would pay anyway, right? You can put those 3 things on your credit card, put the credit card away, and every month that's what you're paying off. If for some reason you really just think you want to use a credit card, but like, now go through your credit card statement. There are charges in there, the things you bought that if you were paying from your debit, from your checking account, you would not have bought. Seriously.
I think I have to do that. Just like look, because I'm not going to say something that I'm not doing. I have a credit card. So, but listening to this is such like an inspiring thing. And I really want to try it, so that maybe when we do have you over again, we'll be able to all like maybe evaluate and see where we are at. Yes, Sister Lovely says we'll keep trying. Yes, we have to keep trying. It's true. We're going to try. It's liberating to say less, not to have a credit card. Thank you for that. And Heather is like really persistent on that. Great. We have to put away the credit cards. I know the bomb on those statements already, so I usually don't go through them, child. So it's like
that's your money you're throwing away.
And it's true though, because if you want to look like, say, let's just say every month is the charges is say $40, or interest rate that you're paying to the bank every month is, let's just say $30. And if you were to times that by 12, and then by 5, how much you're paying to the bank every year? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Every year and 5 years, how much money that we're just putting out there and giving to the banks for. But what about, like, say, okay, let's say you have a budget, right? And we're just having a discussion. Please send in the comments. We're liking them. And this is something really interesting. Let's say you have a budget, right? You have $2,000 that you make every month, and you've gone out of your budget, and you have kids, right? And then you have to buy, say you have to buy food, you have to buy milk. So like, when is it that time to draw a line? Okay, I have this credit card that I've put at home. Let me use it for the sake of my groceries in my house.
Do you know the reason you went above the 2,000?
No, not really. Like everything is
you
budgeted,
knew,
right?
because you knew that you had a backup. If you know you don't have a backup and all the money you have coming into your house that month is $2,000, you will prioritize all your expenses. You're going to reduce things. Instead of eating chicken every day, you probably eat chicken 2 days in that week. Instead of buying, you have butter, you have chocolate, you have peanut butter. Chocolate is finished. Instead of going to replace that chocolate, you're going to eat peanut butter for the rest of the month on your spread. Like you're going to, when you know you don't have that backup, you're going to make different choices. Because the thing is, when you make your budget at the start of the month, you need to track your expense. It's not about just making the budget and keeping it there and knowing that this is my budget. You need to track as you go. You need to reevaluate your expenses. You need to look around your house. There are things that you're buying that you're not using. Go into your refrigerator right now. You probably have expired something in the refrigerator you haven't touched in a couple of months, but you bought it. And when you go and see it's expired, it's going on your grocery list and you buy it again. Ketchup is one of those things that's probably in your refrigerator and you never use. There's some salad creams and the things that are probably expired and you probably have every single version of them. And the moment it's expired or the moment you notice you don't have it anymore, you're going to go buy a replacement. So, besides having your budget right, you need to have an emergency fund, which essentially is putting some space between you and having to go into a credit card.
Okay, that sounds better.
So the emergency fund recommended is like $1,000. You have that money sitting in a savings account. Just leave it there. You're not touching it for anything unless it's an emergency. And an emergency is not like somebody else's emergency. Is not your emergency. You need to set some boundaries and tell yourself, okay, these are the things that I need to do every single month. You budget for them. These are the things that I want to do. Do I have space in my budget for those? And this money, this $1,000 is just sitting here in case something comes up that is do or die. I have to take care of it. You go and touch that $1,000. And once you use it, you need to top it back because you don't want to go into a credit card just because you didn't have something in your budget and an emergency came up.
Great. So yes, we all have to have an emergency fund sitting somewhere and live within our means. And she is very strict on that. Hey, if I were to have you like my financial coach, you'll kill me. Some of us will kill us, but it's possible, guys. It's possible. Like, I think just pouring herself out and just letting us know that it's possible is the mindset. If you can put your mind to it that you can do it, you can do it. Just think of a child who is trying to walk or trying to crawl. They try, they fail, they try, they fall. But you know what? The persistence and the consistency is what finally gets them up walking or finally get crawling. So if you don't try, you will never know if it's possible or not. Once you start saving that money and putting it somewhere, it's very possible. Bella says everything is possible. For sure, everything is possible. Hilda, hey, now only you go Kiwi will comment. What about overdraft, Ida? What are your thoughts on that?
It's debt. I'm against debt. The only debt I'm okay with is a mortgage, period.
You've heard that. Only debt that is kind of like encourageable or advisable, it's mortgage. So we've all heard her pour her heart. And I think we've come to the end of 56 minutes. I just want you to give like a closing, a finishing, just to encourage people and how, if somebody wanted to contact you, how they can contact you for details in how you can support them or coach them.
Okay. So actually on Facebook.
Sorry, can we just do the comment from Bernadette before we go on? And his comment is very true. I'm guilty of having so many things at home and buying more. Tell me about it. Women, oh hey, yes, we can do it. And Bernadette's comment is, it is the same philosophy with healthy eating and lifestyle. You need to be disciplined and change your mindset, which unfortunately most of us are comfortable with the status quo. So true, so true. I don't know if you want to put throw light on that, Ida.
Sorry, say that again.
I said I don't know if you want to throw light on that. Like, she said it's all about like just being disciplined, having the mindset that we can do it. But unfortunately, we are very comfortable, right? And comfort something that is very difficult to break.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. It's just like, it's not a 1 day thing just to go with the eating healthy and the lifestyle and losing weight. It's not a 1 day thing. It's consistently doing it. And then when you see the weight start shedding off, you're like, oh, it's working. I can actually do it. And then you gain momentum and then you keep doing it. So I totally agree with that. It's a mentality change. It's a lifestyle change. You need to start being intentional about everything. And then the other things just fall in place.
Right. And Shella is here. She'll tell you be intentional about everything. Be intentional about your goals. Be intentional now about your money. Know where your money is going. Because like she said, it's your energy. A phone, and she used a phone of $1,000. It's like that is $1,000 of your energy that you're putting into that phone. Is it really needed? That is the question. Yes, we know you need a phone, but do you really have to get a phone of $1,000?
Do you need the latest one?
That is the question that we should ask ourselves. And yeah, very guilty of buying things I don't need and throwing them out when they expire.